Hi, I'm Chef Dawn Parrott. I'm here to talk about my tip and grip turntable. What's new, what's great? Well, the thing is, it's something that we've needed on the market that's not been here in the United States and Canada. So I took an adaptation of the ones from the UK that I've seen over the years and made some changes to make it work for us here. It's not just a specialty turntable. You can use it every day. Every day like this is just a 90-degree turntable. One of the things you'll notice right off the bat is how tall this table is. That was done on purpose. The reason is, while I'm sitting down, you're going to see a little later I'm going to put a cake on here in front of me. The cake is eye level, so you've got no more hunchback while you're trying to pipe. Those of you that pipe and do a lot of wedding cakes know that after a while you tend to get a little tired from bending over your work. So this is going to take that right out of your problem. Next thing I want you to notice is the brackets. This is something we've never had here. So we're going to have the brackets that move in and out. These brackets will hold anything from 3 inches out to 16 inches. I know, great, right? To get small, you're just going to loosen the wing nut in the bottom and do a little bit more. You can take it completely off, but I found this is a great little cheat way. I loosen the nut, you can pick it up and just turn it around. So now my little elbow is on the inside. This is where you're going to get the 3 inches up to about a 10-inch cake. After you get 10 inches, you're going to turn it back around. So from 11 up to 16, you're going to have the brackets out like so. Now, one of the things about these brackets you're going to notice is they have multiple holes, like this. So depending on what size cake you have on here or board to hold, the reason we have 3 is because one, there's a big bracket underneath. We don't want to hit the bracket with your bolts, but also you'll want the adjustment forward and back. So you're going to choose which hole that you're going to use. You'll also notice the holes are square. This is a special bolt that has a square head. So when we go to lock this in place, the square sits in there, and once you get your butterfly nut started, you don't really have to hold that because that square is keeping the bolt in place. So if you've got your cake sitting on there and you're trying to adjust it, you don't have to be holding the bolt. So again, it's another feature to make your life a little easier. But let's get to the fun special parts. The cake tilts on specific angles. What I've chosen is a 20-degree angle, a 45, and a 60. Yes, I said 60. We'll talk about that in a second. What you're going to do is take off your bottom bolt. There's 2 bolts underneath. Okay, you're going to remove the bottom one. The top one never gets removed. That's just to hold it in place. So I'm going to show you sideways here. Here's our 20-degree angle. So you would find the hole, put your bolt back in, and then put it on. Of course, you've obviously taken your cake and fit it first, but that's the 20. So the 20 is most commonly used for string work and things of that nature that you want to have gravity helping you with it. It's also going to be good for working on your side, maybe the bottom, more towards the bottoms. But if you're working on the side of a cake and you're not strong in your piping, you can put it on this 45-degree angle. Now, the 45-degree angle can be used on real cake, but usually not for long periods of time. You're going to want to watch it. You're going to have to gauge your cakes yourself. I'm going to put it on an angle and show you today. It's great for side work. You're probably going to use it more frequently for your dummy tiers, maybe some painting work, that sort of thing. But you can, depending on the cake, obviously you want to test your own cake. I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and do it with a really light cake. Personally, I would do something heavier like a pound cake. The brackets are going to hold your board. What stops the cake from falling? We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Then, for those of you who do a lot of competition work or plaques, you can take out your bolt and put it on our 60-degree angle. That's on the other side. So you can see it's a little bit sharper. It's almost flat. So imagine if you are a painter. You can put a plaque on here or a dummy tier and sit and paint on the top surface. Also great for competition work. If you're, again, piping's not your strong suit and you want to pipe on the sides of the cake, this allows you to use gravity and let the icing fall and have those really pretty, nice, smooth lines without smushing it. So again, a 60-degree, pretty much going to use it for plaques and dummy tiers. I wouldn't recommend it for real cakes. We're going to go back and talk just a little bit about the construction. The turntable is made of solid, hard maple. So care is real simple, similar to like a butcher block. All the brackets here are powder coated metal, so you can take them and just put them right in your sink and wash them. To clean your turntable, just use your regular soapy rag. wash it off, dry it. As you start to feel it getting a little bit dry, I'm going to give you two options. You can either use food grade mineral oil. As you feel it needs it, you're going to just gauge it by how dry it feels. But there's another great product in the market. There's a sample that comes with every one of the turntables. It's actually the roller balm from Cake Trick rolling pins. I paired up with the inventor of the Cake Trick rolling pin because I love that product so much. It treats the wood so well, and it's real simple. You just buff it on and let it sit, and it's done. So again, it's more of a waxy than the thin mineral oil. So you can choose either or, and that's it for the care. Real simple. To put my bolt back on. Oh, it's on the bottom. I forget which one I had off. Okay, so now we're going to take that cake that we've just added the fondant to. I'm going to move my pieces out a little bit just so I can be able to adjust it. Then take your cake and set it up on your cake board. Okay, so you can see I forgot that I'm smaller than my cake board, so what I'm going to do is turn it around. So we're going to turn all these around. Now, I know it's going to be out toward the outside, so I'm going to need to move it to that first bolt because my cake board is out towards the outside. So I'm not going to tighten them all yet. I'm just going to turn them around. If they don't fall over. So again, I have to take them off. You're going to find you have some cakes that you do a common size of, so you're not going to have to switch it as much. And once you get used to using them, it'll just become faster. Let's turn these around. The other great thing with this turntable is it turns really smooth. It doesn't make any noise. It's very smooth. I've had a few people who have already been in touch with me who have had theirs for a couple weeks and have been using it and telling me the things they really like about it. One of the big things everybody says is my back doesn't hurt from typing anymore. So that's good because that's one of the things I wanted it to work for. So, I'm going to try to get this the right sizes. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure the cake is flat. I'm putting my brackets right to the board and then I'm tightening them. Now you'll notice the brackets stick out when you have something this size, and that's fine because what you want to be able to do, I like to use the brackets to help turn. I'll use it versus, it may take a little getting used to because it's something different that you've not done before. But this is nice and tight. So now you can see that cake's not going anywhere. So if I wanted to work on, say, some string work, for example, I'm going to take off that bottom bolt. And I'm going to turn it to my 20-degree angle. So here's the real cake. You can see it's not going anywhere. It's fine. 20 is pretty good. 20 is not a lot of stress on a cake. Once we get to those higher ones, it's going to get a little more stressful. So let's take this out and go to the 45. Again, this cake that I've got on here is a little bit sturdier. It's a cake from scratch. So you can see it's holding up okay. Now that fondant is also giving me a little barrier. Again, I would keep it and work here for a bit, give it a bit of a break from time to time. One of the things you're going to notice is that this doesn't turn, and I did it on purpose. So what's going to happen with squares, it's a little more work because you're going to work on one side, you're going to put it back up to the 90, which is good. Like I said, it's giving you a bit of break on the cake. So you're going to turn it back up on the 90. I can never do this backwards. Put it onto the 90, and then what you're going to need to do is just pick up the cake and turn it to the other side. So you do a side at a time. When it's a round board, which I'll show you in a little bit, you can just scoot the round board around in a circle. But the reason I did that is because I didn't want to have to create a locking feature that was going to be a little, like, it's a little bit awkward to get to. So I would rather have the post turn versus the top. So when you are working, I don't want that cake to be sliding around while I'm trying to pipe. I know it's going to sit in place. So you can see this real cake sat on the 45, no problem. When I was turning it and moving it, it sat there, no problem. The key is going to be putting that fondant on your board. It's going to give it some help. Now, what I'm going to do is leave this on this turntable, and I'm going to pull over my other turntable just to show you with a dummy cake the 60 degree. So let's slide this out of the way. And I brought over a dummy cake that's been done already. And then this is the purple one. Now this is a custom made turntable. This one will be made to order. It's not one that we're going to readily have available. The reason is this is an exotic wood. As I said earlier, this wood has not been dyed or painted or stained. This is the natural raw color of this wood. It comes from Africa. It's a bit more expensive, so you're going to see the difference in the pricing on the website. But again, it's a bit heavier, it's more solid. Hard maple is about as hard as you're going to get, but believe it or not, this one is just a little bit harder. So you can see this cake board is a little bigger than my turntable. Now, for some reason I put the peg in my first hole, so now this is another example of why we need to move the pegs. Because this peg here is going to hit the side of the bracket underneath, so we're going to move it up. Because I have to bring this bracket almost fully in. So I'm going to put it into the center one. The center one will work fine. So I'm going to need all my brackets in the center for this. It only takes a second, but it's worth it. Just knowing that cake is not going to go anywhere. Like I said, these brackets are made of solid metal, so they're not going to be like plastic and cracking off. The only thing that's not metal on the turntable is the shaft in the center, but that's made of a polycarbonate plastic, which is basically as hard as steel. It would take a lot to damage this turntable. One of the things I focused on was wanting something that was going to last a long time and people weren't going to have to replace. So I wanted it to be an everyday use turntable, but as well as that specialty one that a lot of people have been looking for but just didn't want to buy the extra. And one more to go, and then I'm going to show you the 60. The 60 is fantastic for competition work. And also, like I said, if you have that wedding cake that is like, you know, the bride wants the $5,000 look for, you know, $150 as we all get, and we do a dummy tier, then you can do all your fake tiers on here and turn them right on the side and have perfect pipe work. So let's put this cake up here, loosen one, slide it into the bracket and hold. So again, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to loosen the bracket, slide it in, and tighten. So again, the advantage of having that bolt on the bottom now is that it's holding my bolt in place and I don't need to have my hands free. So I'm going to check them all, make sure that they're up against the cake. So again, you can see how nice and smooth. You don't hear a sound on this. It's got a beautiful spin. I'm going to take off the bolt on the bottom. And we're going to tilt this one all the way over to the 60. And then put the bolt in place. Now you're going to notice right off the bat, this cake is looking right at you. So how great is this going to be for surface work? If you have to write inscriptions on it, or especially painters. I really see painters using this a lot. So I want you to take a side view of seeing how strong that is. But you can see I'm not touching this. I can turn it and turn it and turn it. I'm not touching it. The cake's going to go on its own. Those brackets are going to hold it in place. So it gives your hands free to work, gives you a lot of options. Hopefully now this will give you more options to work with your cakes that you never had before. So for information on how to purchase this, or any questions you want to get in touch with me, go to my website at www.donparrott.com. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy it.